let's stick with Trump. You've seen how Governor Newsom has kind of dealt with Trump, kind of going at him straight up, challenging him on big things, really putting himself in the national spotlight. If you are elected governor, how do you think you would handle, President Trump? Would you be taking a similar approach?
Everyone has their style, Eric, and my style. Well, when I was Attorney General the first time, it was during the same time that Donald Trump was president the first time, and my style then was speak softly but carry a big stick. So we made it clear to the federal government. You are the federal government. You have jurisdiction over all those federal issues, but when it comes to state issues, hands off. And so it shouldn't surprise you that on more than 120 occasions, I ended up having to take Donald Trump to court to stop him from doing the things that would harm the state, harm our people, harm our values. And fortunately, we were able to win most of those times because Donald Trump has a propensity to do things that are unlawful. And if you can catch him in the act, you can beat him. And that's what I intend to do, is make sure that we're prepared when he's trying to do something to us that's not appropriate. We'll take him on. But again, the federal government's a big, big partner. We need to work with them where we can, and we will. I proved that when I was Attorney General, and I'll show it when I'm governor.
Let's stay on the federal government for one more. Just talk about what are there a few things that you learned when you were in your role at HHS that you feel like would, really serve you well, as the governor of California?
Undoubtedly. When you're running an agency the size of the Department of Health and Human Services, most people don't realize how big it is. Folks will say, well, I know the Department of Defense, big. Well, when it comes to budgets, the Department of Defense's budget is half the size of the Department of Health and Human Services. In fact, you could fit the Department of Defense's budget and the state of California's budget all together, and it's still smaller than the budget that I ran at HHS. And so you learn a lot of things, especially when you have to during a time of crisis when we were in the pandemic with COVID. And so you learn a couple of things really quickly. They educate you on a couple of things you have to do. First and foremost is you can't waste time. You got to get things done. You can't just pontificate. You got to deliver. When people were dying of COVID, we had to deliver the vaccines. We had to deliver the PPE. We had to make sure people had COVID tests. And all of that, we had to make sure that they would do it and take it because it didn't cost them an arm and a leg. And that's why it was so important as we got 700 million COVID vaccines into the arms of Americans over those 4 years that we made it clear. It's there for you. Don't worry. You need it. We want to keep you healthy. And so whether it was negotiating the 10 most expensive drugs in the Medicare program against those pharmaceutical companies, the biggest pharmaceutical companies in the world, and successfully lowering the prices of those 10 drugs, in some cases by 80%, you learn a lot of things. And what I think is most important for state government that I'll take with me as governor is I'm not going to wait to try to solve a problem once it's coming around and it's going to broadside us. No, you get everybody together at the very beginning. You set your course. You tell them this is the roadmap. Tell me now if you've got a gripe or a concern, because once we leave this table, we're marching. And if we do that, I think we'll get high-speed rail done. If we do that, I believe we'll make homes more affordable. If we do that, we'll have the energy that our families need.